And here we go. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Tights Frame of Mind. Today, I have a special guest with me, a repeat offender, as we say. This is Sam. Sam is one of the OG hosers. Sam, I've
Oh,
known Sam since as long as I've been wearing online, I think.
almost like I mean, I hate to say this because it ages us, but it's like maybe like almost close to 20 years.
It has to be. It has to be. I really feel like I met you in my 20s when I was first starting to post pics.
Yeah.
Um, and
Well,
Sam,
you were 8 and I was like 12.
yeah, no, it's a well, for clarification purposes, like I was a full-blown adult college graduate,
Yeah.
completely autonomous, and there was no coercion. It was
No,
completely, it
it
was
was
a
all love for
mutually beneficial thing. Well, because Sam knows, and it still does know everything there is to know about the online hoser community.
it.
If you he he is the Kathy Griffin of Pantyhose.
Yeah, definitely. I am definitely on the D list. I
Yeah,
always say,
well, and you also know all the behind the scenes gossip. You know everybody's deal, everybody's story,
yeah.
and you've
And
got some.
that from you though, you've been a very, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but you've been like, you're like my fairy hose father or fairy hose brother because you've always been very there with the, and I said this the last time I was on. You've been there with great um, introspective on things. You've always given me excellent advice. I remember, and I said this the last time. I think I was wanting to date someone that I met. Actually, this is back. This dates me too on Craigslist, and I explained the situation to you, and you're like, "Ugh, it's not going to work out." And I'm like, but I'm like, I was sort of like, like I hate to use this word, but I feel like I'm a little bit like Charlotte on Sex in the City, or and just like that,
You had
the
a pie in the sky kind of idea.
guy optimism, oh, I'm gonna, this is gonna work out. We'll be, and you were like, this isn't gonna work out. It's not gonna work out. And you went on, and you were spot on. I hate to say it. You
Well,
gave me very good advice.
if it's any consolation, the advice I give to other people is immaculate. I cannot do the same with myself. So
we
there's the
all,
catch
all
22.
you're always every time I talk to you about stuff, you're always I hate to use that word, but always spot on. You're always with the right information. I mean, a lot of times it's like, it's like I know what you're saying is true, although I don't want to really believe that, but it is the right way to go or the right, perspective on something. So you've always been great about that. And it's funny, and I was thinking about you earlier today because I moved from where I lived in a condo to a house, and I had stuff left in storage, and there was a storage unit that was a little farther away from where I live, and I hadn't been there since I moved, and I'm in my house now 2.5 years, and I
Wow.
just have to get, it's like stuff, and I gotta, we all want to try to downsize and purge, so
Right.
I didn't realize it, but there was like a boatload of pantyhose there.
Oh.
I know. And so I didn't realize that there was pantyhose I bought online back in like, I don't know, the early 2000s
Oh,
from
like, and who could have guessed you'd done that? Bought pantyhose and forgot about them. We've never done that.
oh no, I've never done that before.
Never.
But I think at the time I was it was a lot, like a when I mean lot, like a group of pantyhose. It was like
Hmm.
a huge amount, like hundreds of pantyhose. And they're all from like the early 70s.
Oh,
And
wow.
And I was gonna like sell them on eBay. I thought, oh, it'd be kind of cool to kind of like make money. And I don't know what I was thinking because I think it's a little bit I've sold on eBay, even on Facebook Marketplace. To me, it's an incredible pain in the ass. But
It
anyway,
is. It is. eBay makes it really hard.
so I went through all this stuff. I'm like, oh my, and I couldn't take it all with me. And I found some other pantyhose that I had bought when had visited England. And the other thing I found that I thought I'd start to be interesting to talk to you about, I found this magazine that I had subscribed to. It was a PO box out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, and it's
Yes.
called Richard Ross Publications, and it was like
Hmm.
it was a hose magazine, and
Uh, Can you clarify on what you mean at Hose Magazine? What do you mean?
So that's a good question. So at the time, it was a subscription. You would pay. You'd send it to his PO box in like Terre Haute, Indiana, and like once a month, and like a plain Manila envelope,
Yeah, unmarked.
not unmarked 9 by 8.5 by 11. There'd be like a black and white, like a you open up like a newsletter, and there'd be
Yeah.
stories, and there'd be people, and there were pictures of people. Mostly it was women in pantyhose, not men in pantyhose. But the interesting thing why I would find it so interesting is like that was the first time I realized that there were men who wore too. And it was really kind of cool to see that there were men who liked to wear. There was actually I was looking at it just I'm like this stuff's from like the mid to late 90s. I was all pre-internet. And it
Yes.
was interesting to see how people like were dressing underneath their clothes. Some
Mm-hmm.
people wear on the weekends out, and because we never really hear about those early stories before.
And and that's why I believe that's why I have people like you on, because I really am realizing at this point in time, as the show goes on and as I'm meeting a newer generation of wearers who are so free in how they live with it really feels like the progress has happened, but not without a lot of people before leading the way. And even, you say that I'm your fairy hose father, but in a way, I learned a lot of what I needed to know from mentors like yourself. Like, I had a lot of questions and I didn't have answers because they were not available. And you had a lot of answers, and you also had a lot of good stories, which for me was just which for me was just delicious because, as you know, as and I we both agree, we are of the camp where denying that the pantyhose has a fetish base is nonsense. Uh, I
We talked about this the last time, didn't we?
mhm.
Because there is a person that we know, or who's from Seattle, Nylon Seattle, who's talking about the difference between fetish and kind of a sensory enjoyment of pantyhose. And I think that I
What's the
understand.
difference?
Right. Well, I mean, that's kind of like what I was going to go with. I mean, for the most part, I think sensory enjoyment of pantyhose is a subset of the fetish because that's part of what fetish is, and
Yeah.
it's really
Pantyhose feel good, of course. I mean, it seems. I mean, you can pay a psychologist thousands of dollars to tell you that you know you like wearing them because they feel nice.
right, right, exactly. And I think there's a lot of people who are, you know, and I don't want to say this in it because there are a lot. I'm not going to offend anybody. We're in a new era right now with the federal government where these kinds of things are frowned upon. Transsexual issues.
Oh, yeah, you think I see? Okay, I
I'm not,
got you.
and this is not what and liking pantyhose is not really have anything to do with it. But I think people who are not really attuned to it would say that it is, and it's not
You mean
really.
you're talking about bigots, is what we're talking about.
Yeah,
People who are ignorant bigots who would say any divergence from what they consider normal is somehow a deviant behavior that deserves to be treated with uh with no respect because that's
yeah.
what they're trying to do.
And I was actually at dinner on like Thursday night with some friends who know that I wear, and we were talking about. I was at a party where a Cher impersonator was singing, and her name she's actually a cis woman. She's not. And I was talking to some friends online, and they were like, "Oh, well, that looks like a drag queen." I'm like, but I mean, this is a woman. She's a
Yeah.
cis. And what if she were? And she's not. But what if she were a drag queen? Who cares?
Yeah,
And
who
everyone,
gives a yeah, who
then it
gives
was
a
at
crap?
dinner when I was talking about it at dinner. They're like, "Well, you like that kind of thing," and I'm like, what? I mean, what's? I mean, first of all, what's the problem?
It
If you
so
don't, what is? If someone wants to wear drag and I've heard drag people, drag queens, basically say that's their expression. It's how they
It's an
express.
art form, and what the problem is for these people, this is me hypothesizing. I'm not a psychologist, I don't play one on TV, but what I think the problem is with these people who have issues with drag queens or with anybody who's trans or that does not fit in a quote unquote the quote unquote social norm that they believe is the natural way, which is a bullshit argument in and of itself, because America is, by historical standards, a teenager. But these people have issues with it because they're threatened by the fact that there isn't a lore to what they're seeing, and there is maybe a part of them that either wants to be on stage or wants to be near that person on stage, wants to be in that person's life, maybe wants to even be romantically involved, maybe all of them combined. I think that there is a great phobia of that because of unexpressed desire. That's where it comes from to me.
and and I think a lot of it. I think you hit upon it, the fear of the unknown. And like, I mean, how many? I mean, of all the people in the world who are drag queens, I mean, it's a small percentage. All the people in this world who are transgendered is a small percentage. And
It's ridiculously small. It's like
just
1%.
and this, I know this is going to be airing a little bit later, but recently, this administration has gotten rid of a lot of transgendered people that serve in the military. Not only
Which is offensive.
yes, and they're not only losing their jobs, but they're losing the pension that they've accumulated. So it's like, oh my God! So not only am I losing my job, I'm losing my pension. I know that I'm sure they're all going to have a class action lawsuit.
I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so. I don't think that this kind of behavior is gonna fly, even with the I believe that the country will start to say, what the hell is this?
Right.
because because you can only distract people for so long, and let's just say uh somebody's having a hard time shaking that they're on a list that doesn't exist, so they're going to try to do everything they can to distract people from the fact that there is not a list that they're definitely not on, because if they are proved to be on that list that doesn't exist, that they aren't on, that might send them straight to jail.
Right.
And they know very well that if they are out of office, and I'm not saying anyone specific, they're going to end up in jail. So they're gonna mud fling and mudsling as much as they can, and hopefully, as a nation, we can actually, guts up and say enough is enough,
This is wrong. And
and stop caring or stop giving a shit about things that are not worth giving a shit.
I mean, we have so many more things to worry about, like
Yeah,
global
like
warming and
mhm.
healthcare and diseases and infrastructure in this
And
country.
Blake Lively, she's a terror. She's just now what? She's trouble. We can't have people like her running around in the wild.
Well, she's maybe a little down there on the issues that we have currently right now, but
She could be the reason for global warming. I mean, I've heard that hateful people admit a lot of hate the heat, like all that.
it's it's true. It's true.
But I just, of course, no, there is a very, very serious list. And what is not serious is anything that has to do with people's private lives and private decisions.
Right, and it's like you hit it the nail on the head. If you don't like a drag show, don't go.
Yeah, it's not hard. There's lots of people that I don't want to see live. You know what I do? I don't see them.
Right, if it's a television show that has
Change
uh
the channel.
change channel, put on something else.
I mean, it's funny. Have you? I mean, it's like, but you know what? There are people out there, and these are the twisted people who hate watch, which is another like again a repressed thing, because it's
I
like,
do.
oh, you're watching it so you can rev up your hate for it. Then I think to myself, man, you got more problems than a math book, because if that's what you need to do in order to be entertained, I mean, I'd say read a book, but I doubt that that's the choice for you.
Yeah, I know. It's true. It's like, you know, life is too, life is really too short to worry about these really horrible things and to be mean to each other. That's the thing that gets me. It's like we need to love each other and be helping each other, looking after each other, not tearing each other down. I mean, there's so many people
Exactly.
that we
Exactly.
need to
Which is and which is perfect reason for you to send that box of pantyhose to me. I mean, what better way to show that you love the world?
I will happily send you an assortment of
Oh,
vintage pantyhose. I'll, I,
I
I
I
do. I think I might have your address, but afterwards, we just so that your listeners know, we can text each other. So I'll get you. Make sure I have your address.
oh, thank you so much.
And you still need to send me,
Hey,
that thumb drive.
I know. Okay, look. And after the show is over, I'm going to send you the answer to that thumb drive right away because
You,
I
you,
realized, oh, I figured out a new system. So everybody, just so you're listening, I know this sounds cryptic, but like this is basically me being a total dipshit and and I am a dipshit, but I've also
the book.
evolved with technology. So now that this thumb drive, it turns out, was completely unnecessary, and that I'm actually just a Luddite with a brain that is possibly damaged beyond repair.
Oh, I
I
don't.
but don't worry, I got you covered on that one. Don't you
So,
worry.
getting back to what we were talking about, a little bit of history of men and pantyhose, especially. We
Yes, yes.
about like I was going through some of my old pictures, and that's what he was telling that what Pantyhose King is referring to is that he's going to send me some either his collection of pantyhose pictures or a selection of his pictures. But
These are archival
I
pictures.
know you could probably make it. Someone should make a coffee table book. That's I'm sure.
I mean, I would absolutely, I think that's a great idea. I mean, it would be, it would be, I mean, it would be if we did a limited run, you know, just very small, because who here wouldn't want to just have it?
My hand is up.
I'm
The
raising my hand too.
the other,
Maybe we can source it. Maybe, hey, audience members, do you guys think it's a good idea? Do you guys think that we could crowd fund pantyhose a coffee table book and we could, put in some shots of what we think the prime examples of what uh men in pantyhose should be? I will have to say I'm probably going to vote for myself to be in it, but that's
oh
because I'm a total egotist,
well,
but I'm also self-centered. So,
you've also been a brand ambassador, and you've actually done a really good job of being someone who wears openly, proudly. My job is as I work as an attorney, so it's really hard for me to do so.
it
So
doesn't really go with the dress code very well. You know what I mean? Like you can't wear shorts to court.
no, and so it. I'm very envious of those like yourself. Nylon Seattle's a friend out in Seattle who wears openly too.
But
Who
to
you got?
work though, I
If
mean,
he
if you
rocks
want any consolation, my day job, I have to wear slacks. And I don't wear underneath them because I don't need the distraction, if you know what I'm saying.
oh
So there are times where I have to where I mean because I'm no longer doing personal training, so now
oh
I have to wear khakis, and it's just a simple matter of I need to be 100% focused, and when these are on,
oh,
you know what happens.
what's so funny? I wear every day, every night, even in the summertime. It's hot, not as hot as it is there, but I wear all the time, and
Yeah, you're devoted.
and I do it also for other reasons. I like to wear support hose, so it really makes my legs feel good.
Mhm.
So there's like it's a multi-purpose thing, and the thing is, it's you forget. It's like you forget you have them on. It,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
if
Yeah.
you start wearing all the time, you just forget about it. It's part of my everyday routine. I have as some people have a sock drawer, which of course I do, an underwear drawer. I have a pantyhose drawers
Oh,
actually.
well, I mean, if you're listening to this show, I'm sure you have one, and if you
You're
don't,
right.
you gotta get on that.
So getting back, are you familiar with Richard Ross and Richard? It was called. I forgot the name of it. Actual name of it. Next time I come, I'll pull them out and we can go over it together. But it was. Did you ever subscribe to that?
No, I mean, I honestly don't know if I was even of the legal age to subscribe to anything without my parents knowing.
Well, you know what I'll do? I will. They're easy to photocopy. I'll photocopy a couple of them for you.
That'd be great.
There's some of them have pictures of men,
That's
so
amazing. That's history right there.
it is history. And I was like, and they're in a Victoria's Secrets like bag, a paper bag. And I was like, oh, what's this? And as soon as I felt it, I'm like, oh my god, I forgot about these. And I remember it's being really expensive at the time,
I bet.
and I was like, I was living at my parents' house, and I was like, oh, I hope. And I was always making sure, it took forever for them to come. Like, when's the next issue coming out? And it
Yeah,
was
6 to 8 weeks.
yeah, exactly for the mail to come, and I'm like, I was gonna make sure I got the mail first, and I still have the stamp of like when I got it, and it was very interesting. And I'll send it to you. We can talk about it. And I also remember when I first got the internet, and a friend of mine who's much at the time was very computer savvy, and like, oh, you'll like it. It's really cool. And this is back in like what 96, 97.
Right. This new thing is taken off.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like you can look up anything, and I was like, oh, the light bulb went off, and the first thing I remember looking up was pantyhose, and I also looked up men in pantyhose, and wow, it was like it took that publication I was getting every so often in the mail to like new heights. And I'm like, wow, because I didn't really care that much that if my mother or whoever found out that I had those because I had women, so I could say, oh, well, I just,
Yeah, I'm fapping to the chicks.
exactly. And but I was like, wow, this is really interesting. And I remember we've talked about this a couple of times. Winnie Cooper was one
Oh
of the
yeah. Winnie
websites.
Cooper, what an enigma. No idea who they are, no idea where they went.
Oh,
Wish them the best though. Uh, they were doing the Lord's work back in the day,
most of it was devoted to women in Pantyhose, but it had a small
but
section.
there were some.
Yes, it had a small section, and of course, our hero, Mike's guys with a Z in Pantyhose, our
Oh
friend.
gosh. Well, you know what happened with me and Mike, right? Mike and I lived near each other for years, and I wanted to meet him so bad.
Never
And
didn't you not know it for a long time that he
I
was
didn't know it for a long time. And then when I finally did know and contact him, he always was acting kind of, he would be acting shy. And I thought it was because, oh, maybe he just doesn't like me. It turns out he thought that he was not good looking enough for me. And I was like, dude,
you
you
were
don't understand. I would have like in a second, like,
heartbeat. He
yeah,
was
like it was such a like Faustian kind of just like, oh, you cruel life. Like I don't I to this day I'm like, oh my goodness, if we don't fool around by the time one of us leaves the planet, I I don't know. I mean, I
just
that was one of the biggest like,
your listeners some background on it. He had started his own website. It was great.
oh
He
yeah.
he was a personal trainer himself, and he lived at the time in San Francisco. And he had a really hot body. He was,
Oh yes. Oh yes. Still does.
I'm sure he does,
He does.
very handsome man. And
Looks
then
fantastic.
he's still living in Florida. Is he still near you?
No, still in California. Planning
Back in,
on moving to Florida, but uh, I talk to him every once in a while. He's going to come back on the show again. He's
oh,
just very shockingly enough a very shy
yeah,
person.
very shy. If he'd be willing to, I would love to be on here with him and you.
I mean, if I look, I tell you what, if next time I'll be like, look, people got questions. I just think it's the same thing I think with him with me, which was, and this sounds a little like maybe a little um congratulatory, but becoming the Pantyhose King was an absolute like it was not done on purpose. It was a it was an accident in a sense that I was just doing what liked, which was I liked that Mike showed pictures that showed himself and his face, and I knew that I wasn't as involved as the people who didn't show their face. So I thought, well, I'm just going to show my face because that's what I like, and I think that's just what made people knew who I was because it could identify me.
Right.
And
But you're also one of the pioneers of like having a website just for men and pantyhose.
that's
Mike
true.
Mike did that, and you did that, and we talked about this how it was. It's the community wasn't very supportive, and it's very expensive, and it's hard to get people to to
Yeah,
kind
people tend to like, I mean, and I can't blame people. People come, they see what they want, they save it, they file it away, they came what they came for. It's not sustainable, but at the same time, I'm not blaming anybody. But one thing that you've been and always have been, and I'm incredibly appreciative of it, is you've been so supportive of everything that I've done.
of
And
you're great. I'm happy to support you, and I appreciate the compliment. You
and
were a pioneer, and I was a your biggest fan and supporter because I thought you were doing God's work here. Because there aren't, even now we talk about this. I don't think there's a website devoted just to men in pantyhose, and I think if you really wanted to see that, you have to look at, I don't know.
well, I'll tell you, if you want to see that, I would suggest looking at Tights Frame of Mind Patreon, because if you are willing to spend merely $10 a month, not only do you get to see all the video versions of each episode, which I wear pantyhose in all of them, uh, you also get access to the Pantyhose Kingdom photography archive,
Oh yeah,
which has and is ever evolving. New stuff is happening and being added every month, but it is also the place where all of the photos that at one time were on the kingdom are there for your viewing pleasure, organized by file. And all you need to do is just, it's $10 a month and it keeps the show running. And you're going to have material to, let's say, keep you occupied for many, many times to come.
keep you happy for a while.
Oh,
So
yes.
so and so now if you're looking for something like new content,
Hmm.
we're what I do is now I look at Instagram. There are a lot of guys that
There's
have
a lot of that there. Yes.
their, I mean, it's not, it's I would say PG-13 rated.
It
There's
has to be because Instagram will kick you off if you do
correct.
anything.
So there's no
There's
there's
nothing that is there's no nudity of or any
no
sexuality
nudity.
allowed.
Some back nudity that you can have a little bit, but not a lot. But
You
yes,
yeah, I mean, if you do that, you run the risk of your account being deleted.
right. So, you know, some of the people on Instagram, not a lot, but there's a couple of them that I've subscribed to that have OnlyFans
Hmm.
site, and that's kind of an interesting thing. So I wanted to ask you about that. What do you think of? There are not that many, but I don't know if you've ever been on any of the OnlyFans
I
sites. Men who
I
wear
have been given free passes on several OnlyFans. The I think it's great. I think that personally, I don't know if I have the work ethic because it takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of like you have to show up and you got to treat it like a full-time job. I tried Chatterbait for a while but this was during COVID, so I was stuck at home and I did very well, but I also was on the Chatterbait like
all the time.
8 hours a day. One thing that I do love, this is a little bit of a game of mine. I love going on to Chatterbait and finding guys and guys who I think have the hose fetish like aura. And I will go in there and I'm the Pantyhose King on there and I will write them and I'll ask them if they've ever worn pantyhose and they always say no. And I say, "Well, I'm wearing them right now." And then I'll send them a picture of myself and then they're like, "Oh, that is so cool." And then I say, "Well, if you ever feel like wearing, I'd be happy to come back and, you know,
Uh-huh.
support you." I have gotten probably 20, 25 guys to do it,
Wow.
shave their legs, put on the whole kit and caboodle, And
Wow.
even better, they said, feel free to please put us into the part of the community because they want to get involved. And then, of course, I've also met, and I'm seeing more and more of it now, actual hosers getting on there and doing webcams themselves, which I say, do it to it. It's just the only thing I could say to anyone out there considering it is a grind. It's not something that you can just do like in passing. But it's the interest is there. And
Yes.
also just remember if somebody has a gray profile name and they're talking your ear off, don't respond that much because that just means that they've never ever purchased tokens and that they're never going to pay you. So that's a little elitist, but don't let them hog your time. That's my tip for any
So,
newbies out there.
so speaking of grind, not to segue, but this is a good segue into Grinder.
Yeah.
And have you been on Grinder on in search of guys who wear? And if
Uh-huh.
you have you had any success, and
Oh
what do
yeah,
you
but
about
I have with Grinder, yes. Well, I mean, I am very diligent. I have not had any sex without pantyhose on both of us for the past since 2016. But I
wow.
also am, I think, very gifted in the art of let's say convincing. I'm a very persuasive guy. And I
You
also
are.
and I have used in the past, full disclosure, I've used the fact that if you have a guy that's attracted to you and you say, "Hey, if you want to have sex with me, you just got to wear some pantyhose. Are you cool with that?" If they want to have sex with you, they're gonna do it. Like
Yeah.
that. I mean, and anybody out there, if you want to get a guy to do that's all it takes.
Yeah.
And I mean, because we all know men are pigs. I'm a pig. I mean, right? I
Yes.
mean, we are. We're total pigs. So it doesn't take a lot of convincing. But I mean, if you are gonna find them on Grindr, you're gonna have to advertise that you are aware, which means showing your legs in hose. That's nice. That's good. But if you really want to get them, up face, legs, because that shows them that you're you're a real deal.
And you can
But
show in private pics on Grinder so they can see how to
mhm.
work. So not to get into this, but before we go on, I
You
did
can
before.
get it. We can get into anything. This
You,
is a
I just want to say you look fantastic tonight.
oh,
I
thank you.
what you're wearing is great. You look like you've lost weight.
I
You know,
have I have taken up a new healthy lifestyle. So thank
you
you
look
so much for
awesome. No, and what you're wearing tonight. If you could tell us what it is you're
I
rocking.
am wearing it's a sheer white top shirt that's sort of like kind of like what you would wear to like a club if you were like at a like a white party type thing. I have a pair of pink panties that were graciously sent to me by a user named Rocket Hose, and
Oh,
Rocket
that,
Hose is very cool. New to the community, but long time wear. And I am wearing my old reliable favorites, my Silken Mists, suntan,
oh
medium
wow.
sheer energy. Absolutely. These are my go-tos. Look, you guys, I know it's basic. I know it is. But with the amount of wearing that I do and the like just bouncing around that I got to do in them, I can't bring myself to spend the money on the fancy ones because I get this just terror that they're going to be ruined. It's almost like sometimes if I get a pair of pantyhose that are really nice, I just leave them in the package because I'm like, and that way they'll never get a run in them and they'll be safe forever. I know
Forever.
it's neurotic, but there it is.
But it's funny. I some of the ones I found were my old Wolfords that I
Oof,
yeah,
Wolfords, yes.
yeah, they're the best. And so you should look on eBay. You can sometimes it's hard though. You have to be very careful. Sometimes you can find a pair, especially it's hard to find an extra large or XXL aren't really expensive. A lot of times they're coming from Germany or Austria because that's what they're made.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
person there used to be a place I think you could get them like a seconds store, which if I knew where it was, I believe me, I'd be on a plane going there. And I bought some of those when years ago, and it wasn't as expensive. So I found my little stash of them today. That's
Holy crap.
found out. It was like, oh, here's some of my old Wolfords. They're great hosiery. Um, it's a lot of fun to be able to remember like when I wore some of them. And you're right, some of them I don't want to take out of the packaging because it's like, it's not gonna they're not gonna be worn, they're not gonna be
Hold on
torn.
one sec. My dog is at the door and I'm so sorry.
No, no, let's take a break.
No, no, it's just Bobby, come in here and cut it out. Do not start this. You know better than that. We're good. I have a gate that locks downstairs and she got through it. She just wants to come in here and be a nudge. She's
That's
fine.
okay. She wants to be on the internet too.
Yep.
But
Well, I'm sorry, Bobby, but this is a one-star show here and you're going to
there's
take backstage.
only
But
one can.
as you were saying,
So Wolfords do wear well. They're
they
very
do.
they're durable.
I haven't indulged in one pair and they are incredibly well made.
So when I get next time I go back to my storage unit, which is going to be soon, to get that other tote of, I was like going through them. I'm like, oh my god. So I will be selling some of them on eBay because I can't keep them forever. So I will definitely send you some.
Oh, I'm a lucky guy, everybody. That's
So
like how lucky am I that I have somebody that's gonna do this for me? I mean, like
oh,
that's just luck.
people send you hose and roses and stuff all the
Hose and yeah, but that doesn't mean that each time when it happens, honestly, truthfully, it never ceases to blow my mind. And I also
and it's
think
incredibly nice.
and I really think there's nothing that I did that I'm owed this. It is just it's a mitzvah, and
Yes.
I can't believe that it's a privilege like to do it. And I don't want anybody ever to think that like first of all, every fan letter that you send to me, I read them. I try to respond to them. If I don't respond, it's because somebody said my name and I got distracted. But I will talk to any and every single one of you. My only stipulations are don't write asking to date me and don't send me dick pics ever, like not asking for it. And
Nope.
frankly, don't send me pics if there's not pantyhose related. And as much as I appreciate the I'm in love with you, like let's get married, we're not going to. So as long as you can follow those rules, um,
Oh, it's funny because there was in one of those Richard Ross publications, the hosiery newsletter, there was a guy from like some prison who
oh
was
no,
to I don't know how he. First of all, I'm thinking, how did he get a subscription to this magazine sent to him to prison? How he
that's a hoser.
and he was like looking for a woman that wore that he liked, and if they could write to him while he was in prison. I'm like, wow. And I'll send if I can ever find the I'll send that to you. I'm like,
I
wow, this
what like young hose wearers, this is what people had to go through to get their fix, okay? We're talking walking 10 miles in the snow to get a pair of
school.
pantyhose. Like
The other
that
one, if someone wants to send the Pantyhose King letters, should always be positive, nothing negative unless it's constructive criticism. But if it's hate mail and you're just hating on someone, don't write him. Don't write anybody. It's like if you don't like what he's you know talking about, or then just don't turn it off. Go listen to another podcast.
he's
Don't get
right.
involved.
He's right.
It's
Although
just
my irresponsible ass would say, "Oh, please bring it, write me," because
I
the
know.
only
Yeah,
thing that I'm gonna do is read your letter on the air and then make
yeah,
fun because I'm
no.
a petty bitch.
I know, no, no. When they go low, we go high. So
Well,
don't.
okay, I'll go high, but because you are such a gentleman, but for real though, you guys, if you write me a nasty letter, it's too much for me not to read it online because it's like they're usually really funny because they are usually like so accidentally homosexual that's just it's too delicious not to read. Um, because I just kind of am a little bit thrilled that there's somebody who is just feverishly mad at my legs and can't stop talking about them. I'm like, wow, you really have strong, powerful feelings for my legs. It's
Well,
almost like you're maybe into them. I don't know. It's
love things like if they could have found you, and it takes a little bit of working for a person not like us to find you. I'd be like, so how did you find me?
yeah,
And
right. Did you stumble upon
why?
me while searching for how to go fishing in Wisconsin?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what did you? How did you find me? Why are you looking for me? Why are you
Hmm.
looking for me? I mean,
This is again, this is again why I say don't worry about people don't worry about people outing you for wearing because if they do that, they've outed themselves.
right,
And also, there's nothing that is there's nothing about it that's illegal. It's it's absolutely a non-starter. Imagine again, I've said this before, imagine going to the National Enquirer and saying, "Guess what? Last night I found photos of a man wearing pantyhose." And they'll go, and you'll go, "Oh, that's it." Well, what's
I
the
know.
story? You found a guy wearing pantyhose? Okay, cool. Do you have any stories about guys wearing sweaters? I mean, like it is such a non-issue. Now, I get that people might be worried about their families and how the response of families. And I understand that there are circumstances where you have to hide it for your own personal safety. But for most of y'all that live in an urban setting, like if you live in a place that has a downtown, like we're talking like a real downtown, like if you, like we're talking like if you live in a New York or an Atlanta or a Los Angeles or a, Nashville, places where there's a whole lot of culture going on, be free and do it. Nobody gives a shit because in those cities, everybody's just trying to live and nobody has time to check out your outfit. And it's freeing. It's freeing to do. It's now question for you, and I hope I'm not going too personal, but as of late, I heard that you have got a bit of a hose romance happening.
Oh, I knew you would ask me about this, so I would
Yes, of
just gonna
course I
give.
was.
Of course, I knew you would. Um, just to give your listeners a little bit of background, the Pantyhose King has been sort of like a matchmaker to someone who
Yeah.
I had already had a very large fondness for, who is also on Instagram. And when you told me I live in the Northeast. He lives in
Hmm.
the and we've been talking. His birthday was last week. I sent him a birthday present of assortment of pantyhose. He was very happy.
Oh,
And we chat every morning. Some evenings we
aw.
do. Like texting each other. I
Hmm.
plan on going to see him in September. We haven't made the date official, but I want to firm that up soon because I I want to make sure he'll get a good flight and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
So
I
I
mean,
want
and plus you better because if you don't, I'm gonna have to, we're gonna have words. I'm gonna be like,
uh,
listen, now
you know,
you,
he's a really nice guy. He's really nice. He's very sweet. He's very grounded. We have a lot in common. Um, I don't want to say too much about him and
I
his
know,
own.
we don't want to jinx it. We don't want
I
to,
don't want to, because I don't want to say too much about. He's a hard worker. He has a good job, and
good,
he also
good.
has a job. He's like I said, a hardworking guy who wears hose under his clothes, like I do, and he's really kind of cool. We get along. We have a lot of this. It's not just wearing hose. I know we've talked about this before, because it's not just the hose part and what you want to do while you're both wearing hose, but there's other stuff about like similar goals, similar likes,
Yeah,
similar back,
there's
similar
more to
minds.
life than pantyhose, right?
So, some of that stuff we share, and when we talk, it's like, oh, I feel like he's, the first word I would use to describe him is comfortable. He's to me, a very comfortable person. Like, even when I was watching, I mean, when I would click on his Instagram profile and I watch or look at his
Hmm.
videos or watch or look at his
Yeah,
pictures, I just always get the feeling that he was just a very comfortable person. Even in every picture, he's always saying like, "Oh, I hope you're having a nice day. I hope you're having a nice weekend." And oh, I'm just it's a rainy day. I'm comfy here, with my coffee and my pantyhose. And
that
it's
sounds
just the
lovely.
yeah, and the way he's sitting, sort of like what you're right now. It's like I get the same feeling. You're sitting there almost like in an easy chair with your sporting your, which almost looks like a turtleneck and pantyhose, even though it's not turtleneck weather. But that's what it reminds me of, and you've got that casual, comfortable. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm comfortable as a masculine man wearing pantyhose, which is what I'm attracted to. He's a lot like that. He's
Got it.
really just a nice guy. So we're taking it baby steps.
That's how you
I've done,
do it.
yeah, I've done the other thing of like running and and it just crashed and burned, and I don't want that to happen.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
just hopeful, but I'm like hope for the best, but you got to prepare for it. It may not work out, so
I hear you 100%. It's look, dating is a fucking it is a bitch regardless of what it is that you are
yeah,
after.
it's a little. We live in different states, and it's he lives about 500 miles from me, so it isn't like I can just take a weekend off and just go up there to see or go down there to see him, which I would do. I don't have a problem doing that. I don't even have a problem driving there. I think once we make the connection and
Yeah,
things
you
go well,
gotta hook up first.
yeah. And we've talked about like he can come here, I could go there. I'm doing it the right way. I'm getting my own hotel room when I go
Damn straight.
stay where he's at, and so he can come see me where I am, and I think that's the right way to do it.
I look, I
We've
like
exchanged pictures, and so we know where each other live. I've shown him pictures of my house, and like I said, I've sent him, I've mailed him, things. So I gave him a birthday gift with a nice
I
card. And
mean, look, is anybody else as jealous of him as I am? Look, and I'm telling the audience this, like, you guys have no idea. Like, if I lived closer to Sam, I totally would have been going for it. Like, Sam just lives so far away from me, but let me say, like, there were so many times where I was like, you know, this guy is hubby material, but
whole thing.
you were just so far away, and it was like, I wanted to, but then a part of me was like, moving across the country to be with someone seems like you might be setting yourself up for disappointment. But yeah, there was part of me that always was like, I wish I could do it. But,
Yeah, I'm in New England and you're in Florida, so
yeah,
it's funny. I wanted to mention this too because before talking to this guy who lives I live in New England. He lives in Pennsylvania, so it's not really that far. But I was
yeah.
talking to someone else who lived in Pennsylvania, who I met on Grinder. Actually, you know what? I think I may have met him a long time ago on Craigslist. That's how long ago that. I
Craigslist was, it's
the best. I think I found
RIP, RIP Craigslist.
I know. I loved Craigslist. I know there's
We
devil,
all did.
and it's not bad, but Craigslist was great. I met a lot of people on
Oh
Craigslist.
my God. Craigslist was too good to last.
And the thing about this guy I met, we both I think are very this guy was a little bit closer to my age.
Hmm.
He liked pantyhose, but hadn't worn it in a while. This guy's married with a child. He's like, oh, my wife and I don't get along. Of course, this is what he's telling me.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we get together. We should get together. We should get together. We should get together. We should get together. And it was like, okay, how many? This is years now, and it's like, so I'm not stupid, and I'm like, if I never mentioned this to you before, because I know you would say to me, oh, you're never going to be meeting him. Don't worry about that. He's just jerking your chain. It's never going to happen. So now that I've met this person, I talked to this guy a couple times. He just because it's one of those things I text him and then I'll wait and he'll respond maybe a day or two later, and it's like it's like putting the elf on the shelf. Like, I'm not going to hang out with you until I have time, and or I'm interested in talking to you because I have another world out there, and I don't want to be someone's other, because that's what happens a lot when you
Oh
meet with
yeah.
some
Oh
people.
yeah.
There's
I've been the quote unquote other woman to
Yeah, and I
uh
don't want. It's I met this guy who goes, "Oh, my wife's really sickly, and I don't wear, but I like guys who wear." And he called me. Of course, it was a blocked number. I'm like, "Well, why don't you at least get like a Google number? Then we can at least talk. And I
so
know I can text you on your Google number. Oh, it's really hard. I don't know if I can do that." I'm like, I get
oh
it. It's not. I mean, even for me, it's not that hard. So I was like,
yeah,
and I haven't heard.
that yeah, what a liar.
So it's like, I mean, I'm not saying these guys were bad
Yeah,
people or
yeah, they are. I'll say that. That sounds like dirty cheater liars.
well, I wouldn't even go that far. I'm just going to say they're just in a different space than I am. I'm like I am, just so that your listeners know. I'm single. I
Yes.
don't have a boyfriend. I'm looking for another guy to be with, and I have an Instagram account that says that. I've gone on Grinder and other
You guys,
places.
I'll shorthand it for you. He's actually one of the good ones.
Oh, well,
And and this is what happens when you're one of the good ones. The bad ones, they see it. And that's the thing that gets me very defensive of Sam because I know the scumbags because I have done it with all of them, and I've got the notches on the bedpost because I I can tell
you're
you right now.
You're like you're like the Ann Landers of Men in Pantyhose, because you're always spot. No, your advice is always on target. It's always correct. You can read you read these people better than I can. A lot of times I say to myself, "What would he say? What would I spoke to the Pantyhose King. What would he think?" And I'm like, he would just tell you that this is just going nowhere fast, and don't even give it a second chance. So I I haven't really invested in any of those people anymore or talked to them that much. If they call me or they text me, I'll respond, but I'm not going
Right.
to them
You
to
don't
make
go out of your way for it.
no, because this other one that we've talked about, this burgeoning relationship is important to me, and
Exactly.
I want to concentrate on just on him and him alone.
Yes.
He's a and when I say he's a really nice guy, he's a really really nice guy.
I trust. Look, as nice as you are, if you're saying that, I very much trust that he is because you know, like attracts like. I mean, I hope that everything turns out because you deserve it of all the people that I could think of.
I appreciate that.
Hmm?
See, like I said, one of the things that I like about you, especially now that we're like kind of like on a different chapter of our lives, I'll say,
Right. Yeah.
you're just really comfortable about who you are. And I don't mean you have to sit there and hold a picket sign or to like shove it in someone's face, but you're just like you who you are. You exude an aura of like, I'm stable in my life. I'm very comfortable, but I'm not gonna push it in your face or make you do this. But this is who I am, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm living my life and loving my life. And if you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to like it, and you don't have to be around it. But this is me, and this is who I am, and I'm happy with it.
Well,
And
that
really, kind
is.
of,
Thank
it's a
you.
nice. It takes it, but I think it took you a while to get to this.
Oh,
So
I
it's
had some years of rockiness for sure.
yeah, and I have
There were some rough years, which unfortunately, uh, being in the public eye, a lot of it happened on camera or it was happening during people got to see it. And while you know, I'm not proud of it, I'm also not going to give myself absolute shit because I
it's a learning
mean,
it's a learning experience. I mean, we've talked about people that we've met, and like remember there's that guy named Steve who's from Florida, who was I don't know what he was really nice looking and great in pantyhose, but he's like MIA. And there was a guy in the Midwest that you and I were talking about that used to be on FetLife, which is
Yep.
another to go on to look for men in pantyhose. It's hard to look for them per se. I think it's hard to do a search for that the way it's set up. You have
I
to do a
just like
lot
to
of
do conversions. That's my challenge. I love to conversion. I'm all about the conversion. You know, like, listen, there's a world you're missing. I had a convert just the day before yesterday. First time. He
really.
loved it. Loved it.
Wow.
And actually it was him and his girlfriend came over and she took pictures and she was like, I love how you look. Like, it's
Ah,
so that's just my fun little like exercise, you know. I like to do that.
right. But finding I like to find people who are already into it. I'm not looking
I
to.
know, I know. There is something to be said about that.
Right. And it's and I tell people and all your listeners know this. It's non-fattening. It's legal. It's relatively inexpensive, and
Well,
also
as long as you keep it in check.
well, that's true, and it has health benefits. You're wearing support pantyhose. It's good for circulation and DVT and varicose veins and energizing your legs. And it's kind of cool because of different colors. So like, if I say to myself, oh, it's a sunny day out. I'm gonna wear probably light, you know,
It's an
off.
accessory,
Yeah,
a
it's like probably
sexy accessory.
I'm gonna wear like maybe a beige or a suntan or that kind of a off-white nude. If it's a cloudy or rainy day, or if I'm going to like a funeral, I'll wear black or off
Well,
black.
I would hope you would wear black to a funeral. I mean, if you're wearing hot pink, think people might
Well, no, I'm wearing pants and no one sees what I'm wearing, but
you're
I
just
I
kidding.
know what I'm wearing. And a lot of my favorite go-to that's kind of like an easy is like a taupe because it's like it's kind of a brownish. So
Yeah,
that's
taupe is good. Taupe, I'm afraid, for me personally, taupe does not look as good on my skin tone, I think, as it does on people with maybe a redder complexion.
Yeah, and also too, you're in Florida, so you tend to gravitate a lot to tans and that and
It
beige.
Yeah, tan works better because it just looks like a tan, you
Right.
know?
You're in Sunshine State, so yes, and that makes a lot more sense. Where I am in New England, it's we've had a great summer, and but a lot of times it's rainy and cloudy at times
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So, and that's the best, as you know, in the wintertime, it's the best thing to wear. I wear it to bed. It's my go-to pajamas, if you want to call it that.
I would totally do it if getting cold was a thing that happened.
I know it doesn't happen very much where you are, luckily for you, but it's nice. It's nice to wear, and it's nice to wear with someone else. And it's like if they're wearing and you're wearing. I've had great experiences with our guys in pantyhose, taking a shower with someone wearing
Yeah,
pantyhose.
that's fun too. Yes, it is.
A lot of fun things to do besides just in bed with pantyhose. But it's also nice, every morning talking to my new friend, he'll put on a pair that I got him for his birthday. He'll put on a pair of what he's wearing. He sends me the pic, and then I send him a pic of what I'm
Hmm.
wearing. Talk about it later in the day sometimes, and I sent him. We talked about like how he was washing them, and I found these really good, and I'll have to send it to you. I found these really good mesh, fine mesh laundry bags for
All
pantyhose that are
right.
on Amazon, and he's been using like pillowcases, which is okay. I'm
Oh,
like, ugh. So I sent them. I was, as a little gift, I sent I because it's easy because I had his address. Like, you buy something and you can buy it and have
you
it.
can send it, yeah, easy on yeah, like as an Amazon gift, yeah.
He's got those, and they're great because there's a way to put the zipper so the zipper doesn't get. One of the things with those is that they open in the pantyhose, become like this big knot, and
Yeah.
way that this is devised, the end of the zipper goes in to the like the corner so that it can't open up. And
Yeah, you should get us if all these things. If you can find the links, I could put them in the show notes afterwards.
so
So if people want to look them
about
up on the Amazon,
yeah, well,
they can.
Pokemon, we should devote some time to like washing pantyhose because we've talked
Oh,
about this.
don't I have an episode coming up where that is going to be a central topic. So don't
Yeah,
worry, you'll be alerted for
or
sure.
I'll send the stuff with you because wherever you live, it's always, especially if like, I mean, sometimes I would get lazy and I'd have like, throngs of pantyhose to wash. And it's like,
I've been there.
I used to wash a lot of them by hand. And we'll just talk about this as just as a quick kind of teaser. I used to do a lot by hand. I used to get this, I have this pail with as a handle. And, and it's like an oblong pail. It made it easier. A round pail is not really as um, facilitates hand washing as like a. This is more of like an oval shape.
Right, yeah, yeah.
It's easier than if you have like a round pail, and so this was a good pail to use. But I'm like, you're standing there, you're like, you're kneading it, and then
It's it's
get the.
very it's very farm girl from the 1800s.
It is kind of, and then you gotta let it sit, and then and of course now you should always use a pantyhose wash that you don't have to rinse.
Right.
Excuse me. Because if you do that, this just makes it so much easier. So then, sometimes if I had a different, you have to then rinse them and then dry them and then hang dry them. You can't, when you're drying them before you hang dry them, you got to make sure not to wring them, but like, more of like roll them. It was just a big,
Yeah, I
big,
mean, look, that's the thing is like uh there is even I don't know this. There is a the process of taking care of pantyhose is um it's like it's like owning a harpsichord. Like if you touch it, it's going to be out of tune. Like pantyhose, I mean, they require such a delicate touch and attention that I can see what that might be one reason why maybe if somebody's like into hose, but then they find out that like it takes that much upkeep and they're like, oh crap.
well, just to be brief, and then we can go into it a little bit more the next time you talk about it. I'd love to be your guest on that episode. Excuse me. What I'm doing now is just I use these bags, and they're pretty good sized bags, and I put them in with my regular wash. I put the dark hose together and the light hose in a separate bag because sometimes you never know, especially now the hose are made in
China.
yeah, I was going to say that, but yes, China. And I don't really like things that are made in China. I try to
Well, it's
avoid
because the dye can leak out real easy.
can bleed and can bleed on the other. It won't bleed on your pants or your other clothes in the wash, but it could bleed on the other hose. And that
Right.
before with me, and so I just separate them, and there's not a problem. And I just wash them in a regular wash, or even if you really wanted to, you could wash them just by themselves in the washing.
Yeah.
And then that takes care of having to wash. You can put them in whatever detergent you use. I would use something that's not very, um,
Nothing with bleach.
yes, nothing with bleach, nothing, something that like that's like an everyday. Maybe like Tide is a very good brand. I
Hmm.
use a brand that's been branded highly as well, like Tide. Put them in there, and then when you open them, you just hang dry them immediately. You don't have to do anything but hang dry them and let them dry naturally, and then wherever you are in 12 hours, 24 hours, they should be dry. That's the best way to wash them. It's the easiest way to wash them. And you don't have to worry about like kneading them and washing them by hand and then dumping the water and then finding a place to hang them, which is always a problem. It's
So
so much
basically, in other words, you don't have to worry about doing a whole lot of bullshit.
right, so much easier to do it if you wash them in a washing machine. And
And you can tell here, right here, this is where you can tell that Sam comes from the old school because
oh,
because this is somebody who has been caring for pantyhose for like quite some time and know and is like the pantyhose like it's like the Yoda of pantyhose where it's like you
Right.
know all of the things and it's I mean look I worried for a period of time that like pantyhose fetish was just going to be like a little brief like blip but as you can tell on the internet now it is most certainly not and it makes me believe that if pantyhose had existed for all time it would have been a fetish for all time. I think the only reason why it's so new is because it's a relatively new invention and the internet is a relatively new discovery, but
Right.
it's not going away. It's huge. People are people aren't as hung up about it. Like it's
No.
not it's not a taboo thing for a guy to wear a pair of pantyhose. It's just there are so many more things to be shocked by uh these days and I say use that to your advantage like
But you see men wearing more women's things now than
oh yeah and
before.
they look good in them.
Yeah, I was watching something. I was watching a Rachel Maddow show, and she had someone that was talking about something, and he had. I was like, I was very small TV in my bedroom, and I'm like, I was just doing. It's one of those shows you can just listen to. You don't have to like watch. But I'm like,
Yeah,
it's not about.
infotainment.
He was definitely gay, but I looked because I looked him up on Instagram, and I'm looking, and he's got this kind of like an old lady pearl necklace on, and I'm like that I must be that my TV must my eyes can't be, and I had to go up and I looked, and I'm like, no, those are like lady, a lady pearl necklace, like some
Right,
old lady from.
jewelry for women.
And then I went on his Instagram site, and you could see he has different little wearing different,
He
women.
has his own style and
Yeah, I mean, he has his own thing. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but it's not like what I would want to do. But that's, it's
but
not like it's going to hurt anybody. That's just his thing. So when I was like,
you have your style though,
yeah,
right?
there's men who paint their nails, who paint their toenails, and who paint their
Hmm. I
fingernails.
would do it. I honestly would do it, except I'm wretched at it. Every time I try to paint my nails, it looks like a 5-year-old did it.
Well, a lot of these people go to like a manicurist or maybe
Oh,
get.
I'm not paying for that. Uh-uh.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're gonna, you could rock it if you could do it yourself. But some people, there's a guy who's called Hunter. Hunter loves hose.
He's been on the show. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I've never met him, but I've always been a fan of his for years. And he lives in California. He's into music. Really seems like
I
a
know.
cool guy. You know more about him than I do. But I'm like, he always has a pedicure, and he has French,
Oh yeah, he's always like it's immaculate. Like
yeah, French
uh,
French nail pedicure,
mhm.
French for what it's called.
He's a very and I will say this, I don't think he minds me saying this, very successful man, very let's just say he has the funds to make sure he is flawless at all times and he is flawless at all times and good for him for doing so because
And I think and if I'm not mistaken, you know this probably better than I think he was dating a man who then transitioned to becoming a woman. I
I
think.
I
I'm not
I
mistaken. I want to misquote, and I don't know if this is him or if I'm thinking of somebody else.
I cannot say definitively, but
And I thought
um
the same
the
thing.
the gist of that is for the audience is that date whoever you want to date as long
Right.
as everybody's an adult and consenting.
Yeah. As
Go
long as you.
crazy, go wild.
I think that, and it gets back to me and this guy who in the beginnings of our relationship.
Yeah.
It's like, comfort and feeling really comfortable with this person. And the person that I met a long time ago in New York I was always very nervous about, and I was like, and I remember talking to you at the time, and you'd be like, "Ugh." I said, but I went to, I remember telling you this. I even went to like, one of those, palm readers, and they were saying, oh, you may have something going on here, and then they said something like, come back with a gift card for $500 from to Home Depot, and I think I can give you some better information. And
Oh, great.
you were like, they are the biggest. So you're like, don't do it, don't
God.
there. They're just like a bogus place. They're this guy's not for you. It's not going to work out.
Yeah, like
Not
that's the truth, everybody out there. Listen, just because he's into pantyhose, that doesn't make a match. Like it's a do a one night stand if you gotta, but don't assume that it's gotta be love because that's like you're not gonna fall in love with somebody because of the fact they wear pantyhose. You're gonna fall in love with somebody and you hope that they wear pantyhose.
well. I mean, in this case, and I will keep you posted as time goes on. This case, we I know he likes to wear, so
That's how you met.
that's how we met.
That's
So,
how
but
you met. But let's be honest, the way you're talking right now, I don't think that you would and I might be speaking out of turn. It doesn't sound like you would kick him to the curb if, let's say, he had to have surgery on his leg and couldn't wear pantyhose for a, extended period of time.
not at
So
all.
so let's not try to
No,
like it's okay. It's okay to admit that you likey pantyhose being the catalyst, but not the reason
right. It's a
why you like.
springboard to the beginnings of hopefully something else. So, and
I think that's a healthy way to look at it.
he's been
And
extremely very. He's been a gentleman. He's been very complimentary. Been very kind.
well, you better be, motherfucker, or I'll take him out.
You should have him on sometime.
I
Because
would be happy to. I don't know how private you want things to
well,
be,
no,
but if you
I'll,
want to,
I'll ask him. I mean, some other time, but I'll ask him. But I know that you and he's spoken. So I
I'm
mean,
sure. I mean, I've spoken like I mean, let's face it, I'm the biggest whore
this is
in
your podcast. So and
wait, so
he's
he's been
listened.
on the podcast?
He's listened to it.
Oh, well, okay, yay. Well, if you're listening now, hey, if you want to come on the show, let's do it. I'm all about talking to people who like have delicious stories to tell. And I mean,
It'd be
what can I
really
say?
interesting to talk to a couple, and I mean like either I know that there are some male female pantyhose wearer couples, and that's very interesting.
They're
But
hard to get on, believe it or not, because they get shy.
yeah, I mean Darth Vader, Darth Speed, Darth.
Well, speaking of Rob, Rob is he wanted everybody to know he misses and loves everybody. He's super busy, but there will be a resurgence. He will be coming back. It's just he is completely like slammed with the success of his cookie company.
Oh,
But he will be back. He misses everybody. We talk every day.
oh,
So
so give him my regards. Tell him I was asking about him.
I
He's a
will.
guy. So like I don't know if his wife wears them, and I'm not. I don't want to get into that, but it's like
Let's just vote with yeah, she does.
okay, so maybe that'd be kind of neat to have like a male female couple talking
I think that
about
she might not
how
necessarily
how
be, she might not, Rob is very much meant for the spotlight, if you know what I'm saying. Rob loves to, he loves to be on performance mode. His wife is more, quiet, I guess I would say. Because don't think I haven't asked.
oh I was thinking that maybe like a male male couple would be kind of two males that wear would be kind of cool for you to interview.
Oh God, good
So
luck
if
with that
things
one.
get to that
If you
point,
know anybody who'd
if
be willing
he's
to do it,
willing
but
to, that'd be kind of cool.
if you know
I
anybody,
think
ask because the male couples that I talk to, without naming names, they run away from me like I was a fire. I think that they're worried that I'm gonna start asking them the questions that uh in like say like so, how's the sex or in this case, do you got I don't think they can handle the sexual uh questions because
well you have to like you have to be mindful of what they would like to divulge. Because
well,
it's
I mean,
you
I'm
know
mindful of it, but I'm also like, look, I don't want to present this antiseptic, artificial,
right.
like, look, I'm happy for you if your like idea of how your life like came together, like that you just happened to meet this other guy that wears pantyhose and that this has nothing to do with any sort of physical attraction whatsoever. You just met in the wild and you photograph yourselves together and post on the internet because there's not any chance that you have some sort of exhibitionist streak in you. That's not possible at all. And the fact that you hold, group pantyhose parties where you all put your legs together, but it's not to show off, it's not to possibly give material for people to jerk off to. It's because you guys are just,
Right.
simpatico. I mean, that makes total sense to me. And but for me, I just would rather be like, let's just get the obvious out of the way. Look, we all know everybody has a baseline. It starts sexually. That's fine. We can move past it. But to pretend that it's never happened or that it's offensive to talk about, that's not my cup of tea. So
Yeah.
you can
There
be a
are
Disney character if you want to be. I'm not.
Yeah, because I know that the person we were talking about in particular talks more about that sensory issues and having maybe some more like OCD maybe or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
kind
yeah. We all can't afford that kind of therapy.
of
That's what you know, it would be nice if we
or
could all
they
spend,
have it's more sense.
what's that?
I I I mean it's and it's different for it's very similar but different for some people.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. It is. It's totally different for some people, except for one like thing that I just look. I, it might be my dog with a bone thing, but look, one thing that I really, really, really don't abide by is the divorcing of it from sexuality because what I see that as is that is a divorcing yourself from the implication that you could be considered a deviant, which we all know is a code for homosexual. And I am not going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, no, I'm not like those people who wear, those degenerates who wear. I'm a person who is a healthy member of society who wears. My point is I'm just as healthy and there's nothing that I do that personally you should find offensive because last time I checked, there's nothing that's going to get me in trouble with the law. So if the law and the internet is cool with letting me be me, maybe you could too. And if not, then, just shut the fuck up about it, I guess. I don't know.
So that's what I meant. Like you're really when I say comfortable, you're really comfortable in who you are, and it's like you wear it proudly. It's not we're not talking about being a deviant or not talking about being anything. It's just being different. It's a different kind of a thing. It's just like some people like vanilla, some people like chocolate, some people like vanilla and chocolate, some people.
I mean, and I do, but listen, even though if you guys if anybody thinks that I'm talking shit about them, eh, I love you, come on the show. Don't worry, I didn't mean anything I said. I'm just a catty bitchy person, but what can I say? Just come on the show and talk about your early days of cranking it in pantyhose. It could be fun. You could have a good laugh. It's all fun and games. Let people know you're human. We all have bodily fluids. It happens. I kid, I kid. I would never subject anybody to that kind of vulgarity uh sometime.
Right.
Well, yes, I would, but I can't help it. I can't help it, Sam. It's one of my personality quirks. What can I say?
Well, I think I think you've evolved into being more talking about the positive.
Well, I appreciate that. And
And
before, huh? Oh, you're freezing up. You're freezing up a bit.
oh, sorry, you were a little bit too. You express and exude the enjoyment of wearing pantyhose. And that's what
Thank
we're
you.
talking about tonight, is the just enjoyment of wearing, and how it's a soothing, fun. Well,
It's yeah, no, it is, it's everything for me. I enjoy it in a fashion sense. I enjoy it in a sensual sense. I enjoy it in a sexual sense. I enjoy it in a like a presentational sense. It fits me, and it's what I'm like. I cannot quit it, and I don't think it's something that needs to be quit. It's not like smoking or you know,
right,
uh
exactly.
gambling. It's just it's pantyhose. And the more that people out there realize that it's just a thing that guys like to wear because they feel good and it feels nice, then hope my dream is to maybe one day my podcast will be looked back at as, oh wow, look at how like quaint this podcast was. This guy's on here like yodeling about how men should have the rights to wear pantyhose, and that was actually a thing. That's my hopes. And the more I see it online, the more I look online. Like right now I see on the Twitter screen there's like a group of, and it's happening a lot in Asia, like groups of guys getting together,
Yes,
showing off their legs. I'm like, good for them. Good for them.
I've
That
noticed
was,
that a lot of guys in Asia, a lot of guys in Mexico.
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. And you know what? Good for them, because you know what? 30 years ago, that was unthinkable.
Right,
30
right,
years
and
ago, you would be lucky if you could find somebody who would show up in the same Motel 6 room with you. And even then they'd be wearing a trench coat.
yep, I remember those stories.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, listen, it's been great, and thank you so much
Wonderful,
for coming on again. And
long
we
by as always. Yeah, let
and
me know. I would love to come back. I
oh,
look at
of course you'll come back. Don't I mean, look,
when you do your episode on washing and taking care of pantyhose. I'd love to be a guest again, so we
I
can.
think that if you have the drive and the will to want to do it,
Yeah,
if you have a like sort of, not, I would almost say PowerPoint, but like if you have like a tutorial that you want to get out and say, listen, this is how it's done. I will sit back and let you take the stage.
yeah,
I
I'd love to.
can't I can't do much in post production because I'm a simpleton, but
You're much more tech advanced than I am. Trust me.
oh, that's, well, might be true, but that's it's not much. It's you have no idea, people. The fact that this podcast even makes it out is a Christmas miracle, because I I don't know how to do crap.
Oh no, you're much more tech savvy than you think, and you can do a lot.
I can do a lot, but don't, but not but not in not in Silicon Valley, they'd be like, oh wow, special ed. But I try, I do it for the love of pantyhose, and I also do it because if I'm not on camera, I don't know who I am. I'm that kind of person. So, what can I say?
Well, thank you for having me on, and I'm looking forward to coming and seeing you soon. And you look great. Keep on rocking. Keep
Thank you.
doing what you're doing, and we'll talk soon, and hopefully have a good update on what's going on
I
in
would
my.
love it. I would
Yes,
love it. And
I will
I'll be texting you my address
definitely
and also, yeah, I'll fill you in on
send me
the
the
thing
dump.
a thing. Don't you worry. I got you taken care of. You're gonna have a fun night tonight. And
Okay.
you guys, he's having a fun night because he is accessing what you can access on Patreon for $10 a month. So if you want to have fun like Sam, and he's gonna have some fun, think about joining it. Support the show, and pop off a few wheelies. What better deal's that? Well, thank you very much, everybody, and I'll see you next episode. And scene. Let me